next guest went from an ER physician to an integrative medicine practitioner and now helps people build lasting health and vitality with powerful protocols and practices rooted in evidence-based Western medicine and Ayurvedic principles. Here to show us how we can reset the mind and the body is Dr. Avanti Kumar-Singh. Welcome to California Live.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, so we've all heard the term burnout. So many people go through that, but really for so many different reasons. So tell us a little bit about your burnout journey.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I felt a lot of burnout when I was going through my medical training, through medical school, residency, and I was getting sick all the time, had all kinds of digestive issues, headaches, weight gain, plantar fasciitis, you name it, I had it.
Yeah.
And nothing was helping me. And so I really started to think about, how did I grow up? And I grew up with Ayurvedic medicine. That was how we lived. And so I kind of decided when I was going through that burnout, let me go back to what I knew and let's put that together and see what happens. And that's really how I rediscovered Ayurveda.
Yeah, the start of your new journey. Okay, you ultimately wrote a book about it called Longevity Formula. So we all want to know what that formula is.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, really, it's this idea that when you can decrease inflammation and increase cellular repair at the cellular level, right, you can actually increase your longevity or your lifespan and your health span. And really, how that connects to burnout, it was sort of this aha I had of like, the things that I did in Ayurveda, all these practices we've been doing for 5,000 years, we have the evidence now in Western medicine that proves what we were doing and why it works. And really, when it comes down to it, it decreases inflammation, which is a major effect of burnout, which inflammation then causes all kinds of health issues. It causes everything from cardiovascular disease to cancer to obesity, diabetes, I could go on, right?
Yeah.
So it's linked to everything. So when you can learn how to decrease your inflammation, you actually can live longer.
Okay, so you're saying, because a lot of people think of burnout, they're just like, oh, she's just exhausted, he's just exhausted, but you're not. You're saying it's cellular breakdown. So how do we do those routines? How do we incorporate these routines to stop that breakdown?
Well, so what you really need to understand is that we think that that burnout is only in our minds. We're tired, we're anxious, right? But it's connected to our bodies. And the mind and the body are not disconnected, they're connected. Our head sits connected to our body. And so anything that causes that kind of prolonged stress that accumulates over time is going to cause prolonged inflammation, which then leads to all these problems. So if you can learn how to go from a stress response and a stress state into a relaxation response, you're actually going to decrease that inflammation. And there are studies that show that it's been decreased almost 43% just by doing some simple mindfulness practices on a daily basis.
And what would those examples be?
Like breath work, any kind of journaling, meditation, stillness. These are all things that are really powerful tools to help shift you from a sympathetic stress response into a relaxation response, which helps you live longer.
Yeah, so when should we be doing these routines and these practices? Is there a best time of day to do them?
Well, I think that for most people, any time of the day is the best time of the day, whenever you can do it. And so I always tell people, set an alarm on your phone a couple times a day to take what I call a breath break. You want to just calm down, stop doing what you're doing and take a couple deep breaths. And actually, a really simple thing to do is something called box breathing, which is basically you trace a box and you're going to go inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, exhale for 4 counts, and then hold for 4 counts. And you just go around that box 4 or 5 times every couple of hours during the day when your alarm goes off.
Yeah.
And that's a really good way to shift yourself out of that burnout stress response into a relaxation.
That's good, because that's a small habit that we can do instead of just jumping right in. It's so hard to start something new. Okay, you also talk about redefining aging. Quickly explain that.
I really want people to think about aging not as anti-aging, but instead increasing longevity. How can you increase your health span, which means feeling better quality of life, having better health for many more years of your life, right? So we can live a long time. Western medicine can keep us alive for a long time, but what's the quality of our life? So let's really look at aging as longevity instead of just getting sicker and sicker.
Yeah, and really quickly, you have a podcast. Tell us about that.
I do. I have a podcast called The Healing Catalyst, and I interview all kinds of thought leaders in Western medicine and integrated healing every week on that.
Amazing. Dr. Avanti, thank you so much for joining us. We really need to get into that mindful practice. All right.